So this is just a tip I'm giving off. It crossed my mind. It's on book reading, right? So I thought to myself, oftentimes we told, read, just read, read books. It's good for you. It is precisely so. It's good for you. But oftentimes we tend to read so much books that we don't actually get to remember the knowledge. I mean, after all, the main aim of reading a book is to improve oneself, improve one or broaden one's perspective, and learn something new, learn a new skill. Broaden your perspective altogether. So I thought to myself, just give away this thing, and I'm also archiving it for myself. Should I get caught up in the same typical routine of book reading? So I would suggest that it's either while reading, okay, minimum of 3 books, let's start there. A minimum of 3 books, a maximum of 5. This is besides curriculum stuff, like school stuff, that this could still apply, but obviously it's gonna even take more time. But that is compulsory. So that aside, if you still find the sense I'm saying and you can apply it where schoolwork or textbook and text knowledge is concerned, great. But like a minimum of 3, a maximum of 5, unless maybe while you're reading, you're learning and you're applying accordingly. Because oftentimes we don't take time to digest information, to to let it sink in. We don't let information sink in for the betterment of ourselves or whatever the case is, because different books, we acquire different information from different books. So I would suggest that it's important to process information. I mean, the last thing you need is information overload with a whole lot of data, and then you're not gonna be any different unless you recall. You have a good memory and you recall exactly what you read. Otherwise, you will end up not even being any different from someone who has never picked up a book. Worst of all, who's never who's never read, because you could just have been perusing and not necessarily reading. Many people tend to hold books. You'd be social, sometimes you get so intimidated, am I the only one, like you scrolling and people are holding books, man, people are reading, and it's all of that. And but most of the times others don't recall what they read. Yeah, they didn't pay much mind to what they read. Sometimes when you even can like ask what was the book about, they cannot even, not even a synopsis, like break it down, make a summary of some sort. So I would suggest that read read 3 to 5 books, minimum of 3 to 5, and then take 6 months. Yeah, minimum of 6 months, maximum of at least a year before you can read another set of books. Because the aim of information is to apply, is to get oneself, like there should be that difference. When a person is reading from that one who isn't, I think this is gonna get maximum output of results. If it makes sense for you, just do this. I bet you it's gonna make sense that that person reads from a person who's perusing or who's trying to do. Sometimes we hold up a first thought that we're doing what everyone is doing, and we could be fooling ourselves, but the information is not actually working for us, because the main purpose of a book is to broaden or stretch you, improve, add to your skills, give you that upper hand of information that many others might have overlooked or not even know. So yeah, that's just my take on books. I don't know what you think. Please give a comment. Do you agree? Do you think it's a bit too much? 6 months to a year, yes. Like how many? Let's just break it. Those who are done with high school or secondary education, that for some reason you had to either go a different direction, or you still in the process of deciding what to, but let's say deciding, or whatever life is happening, you taking a different direction altogether. Maybe you're managing a family's business, or you're doing something different. How much of the information that you have studied in school, whether high school or after school, do you recall? And how much of it can you say it has really set you apart from those who have not read, who have not went to school? That's the main aim. They should be that outstanding factor, that distinct factor from the one who didn't go. Like I like it's the same kind of principle or law that would apply, that you should meditate. Do you understand? There's something about words. It's like words, you can describe them as some words or some deep secrets in books, or even if it's not a secret, but that ingredient, that nugget in books. It's like some words are like, you could just find that in a sentence and you can open a God knows how much of $1 million or whatever business just from sometimes someone else's phrase in a book. Sometimes words are like that. Like if you would describe them, imagine going off into this house, like it could be in the woods or somewhere very far, isolated type of thing, and you're knocking. There is someone in there. They might be in the basement. They might be God knows what. They're just somewhere around there. It's vast. It's huge. Bon. And you're knocking and you're knocking and you're screaming and you scream, and it takes so long until eventually, that's some words that are placed in books. The description is the same. Eventually, everything starts to make sense. When you've mastered the art of understanding a book in its preface or in its beginning pages, oftentimes I get that a lot, where I read maybe the first page or so and I can already foretell what's coming, and it's exactly that. That's how sometimes when you come to understand the structure of how a book is put together, it's a gift that not many can have. It takes time. It took me time reading and stuff like that. You end up mastering these kind of things that I don't know. That's why I don't really get bothered, because when I don't read for a long time, because like I said with the YouTube thing, what the most that you get from books, you can get from YouTube somehow. It depends. It's a skill. It's a skill. It's not for everyone. Some people would think this is gibberish. What are you saying, girl? But we are different. We pick up information differently from different sources. Other people, it might not work. Bear that in mind, because we take in information differently. Others take it better in numbers. Others take it better in visual. Others take it better in words. Others in music form. It's a different thing. So it's a skill that you acquire with time if you tap into that. So it's like a principle that in the Bible, when it's not about the story of Joshua or anything, but that first line of Joshua, that you shall meditate. There's something about words, if you want to get the essence of what they mean, and the essence of the structure and why they are placed there, for what reason, what meaning is there. You shall meditate day and night, that you might that there's something, there's a feeling of words when you keep knocking and you keep asking yourself, when you going over that phrase, there's something about it. It's filling, it gets to the brim, and then immediately it activates you to do. And that's how you know you have understood exactly what you've read, because exactly what the reader intends for you to grasp. Once you grasp that, then the next step, you ought to do it, because you have grasped exactly what's said. So yeah, that's just my take on reading books. Don't bombard yourself. The aim is to really take in the book. That's why it's important to choose, if you're gonna just read casually, to choose books and topics. We can disconnect this very factor. Choose books and topics. If you wanna improve on this, choose books and topics on a book that you know, or when I'm done with it, I apply this, not to just look fancy. And imagine you wanted to go somewhere and you had to read on the manual guide to get to somewhere. You have to take a taxi, you pay this much, or you take the different option, the different numbers. Immediately when you're done with it, you have a set appointment there, you do exactly what is, you get there. Remember the formula. Thank you for listening.